This time I will show you how we are going to upload and size the combo, the rose combo that I am promoting now on my Instagram. So let's assume that you already downloaded and you already save your files. So for me, I save it here. I put it all in one uh, folder. So, you know, trying to be as organized. I mean, I'm not the most organized person, but just trying to keep it in place so it's easier for me to find it. So once you downloaded it from Etsy, I would recommend that you would put it on a file and segregate it into subfiles like subfolders like this. So let's start. So I assume that you already have idea on the design space, and this is how a design space would of Cricut looks like. So first thing that we need to do after we save is just to open our design space like this and then just click upload. Actually, I already have this to here, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's go and do it all over again. So it's in my desktop and it's rose combo, and then it was the extra large. So let's click this one, and because it's already a PNG file, uh, you don't have to clean this up around here because I already did the cleaning for you. So all you need to do is, you can click whichever, but simple is the best way to go for me for this type of files. So just click continue, and I know it's really big, but that's okay. Just click continue. And you need to click this one, save as a cut image, and then just save it. So there we have it here. So although you can just click it and then go to insert image, let's do that. So it's gonna be easier. So our template, the template one for our extra large rose is here already. So we are going to upload the second template. So the template 2, again, let's just click simple because you don't have to clean it around, and click continue, then continue. And it happens to me quite a few times before that I forgot to click this save as a cut image, so I just leave it as save as print then cut image like this one. You don't have to worry because you can still manipulate it when you get to the design space. So click it, and boom, it's there. So if you notice in this the icons here on the right side of your template, one has a scissor, which means this was saved for, I mean, the work, if you're gonna hit make it, the work that it's gonna do for this particular template will be cutting. But on this other template, on the other hand, you can see that the icon is printer. So it's gonna print instead of cutting. So what we will do to change it into a cut file, just simply click the icon and then click cut. So if you can see, it changed to its color now. And what you can do, for me, like for example, if you intend to save one file of all the roses that you have, it would be nice if you have like a color uh, coding for your petals. So let's say for example for the extra large, let's color it royal violet. So now it changes to royal violet. And then we have the other one. We can just undo this. Like, no, not undo. Like, I'm just hiding it. And then I'm going to change the color into royal violet also for the other one. So here's the other tricky part. Since these two, I already size it in a very, in a, you know, in a good proportion, we cannot resize these two, although you can. Like for example, I will provide you with sizing that you can just, this this is the petal one of the template, and you can see that it has a description here, XL Rose 1. So this is the petal 1 and this is the petal 2. So with the sizing I'm gonna provide you, it gives you uh, the exact size of each particular template. So once you have, let's try it this way. So if you want to do it with the sizing that I provided, this is how you do it. So with the petal 1, let's hide the petal 2 first, and then let's concentrate with the petal 1. And the sizing that I have for the height is 10.249. So what we can do is just highlight it. See here, this is the sizing area. You see there's the size. So I'm just highlighting it and then delete. And then 10.249. And then enter. And because it's locked here, it automatically get the proportion, which is 9.772. But actually I have a different size. It's a very slight difference that I have here. The width of this template is 9.768 instead of 9.772. So what we can do is to click this lock and then just change it. 9.768. Enter. So, and then just click it again. So, you will keep the proportion in. So let's hide the one. We already sized it with the size that we need for the extra large size bud. This is for the bud actually. So let's hide that and then let's show up the template 2 of extra large rose. So here it says it's still locked. So what we can do is you can also do an unlock it and type in the height is 11.744, and you see, because we unlock it, it doesn't give the proportional dimension unlike on the first template that we did not, we keep the lock on. So it's doing it manually. So the width for this one is 10.1 inches. And then enter. And then don't forget to lock this one on. So now we have our template 1 and template 2 for our extra large rows. So if you wanna print it, you can just go ahead and make it, and then just click continue, and then it will take you to you know, the cutting portion. So if you can see, we are using the 12 by 12 paper here. So it's like up to 10 inches for the width and more than 10 inches for the height. And let's go back to our design space and let's see how our template 2 would look like. So I'm not sure why it's doing this, but let's do it again. So, well, if you can see, there's this line here. It's weird that it's not showing up. I'm not sure if it's because of the color. Oh, okay, now it's showing up. So you see, the width is more than 10 inches and the height is exactly 12 inches. So what you can do, you see, this is the mat. This is the line of your mat. What you can do to compensate this very exact line of 12 is to move your mat down a little bit, like 2 or 3 lines from your ruler, your grid here, just enough to compensate, and your paper will get up to here. So that's my technique on placing my paper into the mat, so you know it can cut and compensate the size of the paper I'm using. But if you have a longer mat and longer paper, that's no problem, no issue. But if you are just using the 12 by 12, what I am trying to do here is to maximize the size of the paper that we are using. So this is how, you know, this is how it looks like when cutting, and then you can just proceed and continue. So you will need 16 pieces of the template 2 of the extra large, and I'm not sure why it's not showing. Huh, it's weird. Well, anyway, you need 12 pieces of one, and then 16 pieces of the 2 for to make a giant rose, or the extra large rose. And now let me show you how, you know, let me show you how we are going to size this one without the, you know, the sizing I provide. And one second. let me show you how I size it, just in case we don't have the provided sizing and we still intend to use the 12 by 12 paper. So again, let's upload this too. So 1 and 2 is here, and again the 2 is prints for printing. So what we're going to do is to do it to cut, and then just change the color like we did before, and just change both so you have like color coding on your templates, because we're gonna add the other sizes here later, so you have, you know, you don't clutter your projects in your design space. So as I told you earlier, this this templates, I already arranged it in a good proportion, so this one is proportion to the other one. However, we need to fit this paper into our we need to fit this template into our paper, which is gonna be 12 by 12 up to here and here, and obviously it's so big that we cannot do it. So what we can do is select both and then just bring them here, or just do like at least 12 inches height, so we can, you know, drag it here and there. So we are not going to change, because the proportion is perfect for this petals. We are not going to change the petal size one by one, not unless you have the sizing that I provided. But if you don't have, just in case you miss it, like you don't know where to put it and you cannot contact me for some reason. So what you can do is to manually size it on your design space, and we're going to use the 12 by 12 paper. So now we able to make our templates smaller, that we can drag this one smaller and large, or larger to smaller, but at the same time we keep the proportion of the two intact because we select both together. So what we want to achieve is to, you know, get the height up to this area here. Like I found it out that you will be okay if you are going to put your cutting object here like 11.5 and also 11.5 here if it's gonna be 12 by 12. But since the width is, you know, less than 11, that is perfectly fine. So what we are considering now here is the height, that must be 11.5. So that's how we are sizing our giant template manually without, you know, looking at our sizing. It might not be as perfect as what I had provided, but this will do. As again, you know, when you cut the template too, make sure that you at least put your mat in here instead of, you know, grabbing this space here to compensate the bottom part, because this is what I was trying to explain, that I showed you earlier too. When you go to it's really fine. This is the 12, so you still have the area here. So I think you can still, you know, move a little bit to one nudge here, But of course, as I said, we need to size this one together to maintain the proportion. Let's move it a little bit more, like 11.75 height. So let's hide the one. Our concern here is the 2 because the template 2 is larger. So when we press make it, you see it's here in, not really. I really have to go back to 11 to 11.5 because it says that the width is not right. So it's better to have a little, you know, size difference than not be able to cut it at all. So again, our height here is 11.5. So let's hide this and make sure that it gets into our mat right. So you see, it gets into our safe cutting area, which is the red one. So you can just go click continue and then just do your cutting. So as I've mentioned to you earlier, we are coding this roses templates because we wanted to put all together our rose template in one design space. So we're going to upload now the remaining sizes of the rose. So we already done with the XL. Let's go ahead, and actually the large and the XL has the same template. What we can do, although you can upload it, but what we can do is just copy it out, make it visible, select both, and then just click duplicate. And then well, you can, but the thing is, I'm not sure how to change this one. It's not like, you know, elements in because you still have the XL rows here. Well, let's upload the large rows then. Never mind. So large rows 1, click simple, continue, and then make it, continue, and then click as cut file, and then upload again, and then the large rows, continue, and then continue, and then save as cut file, and then save. So now that you have your large rows here, then just click insert. So because we're no longer working with the XL right now, we're done uploading it. Well, let's just hide those two, and then let's try to use this rose pink color for our large template, although it's a bit harsh on the eyes. Never mind. So now we have our large rows, we have our XL rows, and the same thing with what we do on our extra large. This time we're going to use the 8.5 by 8.5 by 11 inches paper, which is the normal paper. And you know, I will provide sizing will also be provided, but let's proceed, as if the sizing is not provided. So what we are going to do here is try to make, find the center of the two templates together. So let's just going to select it, and we know that our most height that we can get is 11 inches. So let's put 11 there and then just click. So now we have 11 inches and 9.83 inches, and it will still not fit because our paper is 8.5. We need, our target is here in 8.25, so that we will keep ourselves into the safe cutting area. So what we can do, let's just move this one here, and there it is. This is our large template, 9.208 and then 8.229. I mean, I will provide the sizing number, but this is how you do it without looking the sizing. It will apply with all the templates that I have, that you can just resize it in a way that you like. So now we have our large rows. Let's hide this one and upload the medium rows. Actually, I have two different ways on making your medium rows, and this one are the templates that you can just manually and do the cutting by yourself. But this one I also form it in a way that you don't have to do any adjustment, but just the sizing. So let's use this for a change, because we already know how to do it with a large and extra large rows. So let's use this medium rows combo and upload it and continue, and then continue, and then continue. Just insert it. So now we have our medium rows combo, and we're gonna color it with what? Maybe sage. Okay. So this is now our medium rows template, and the way how we are going to position the paper is horizontally instead of vertically. So we're going to have the 11 inches here and the 8.5 here, 8.25 here, to keep it at the safe area. So it's only in 8 point something and not even reaching here. So we can adjust it to really maximize our paper and cutting space. So we are at the 8.26, or just to be safe, make it 25. And you are going to lay your paper horizontally instead of vertically in your mat. And as I said, it would help that if this is your mat, you're going to position it like one nudge down or moving to the right, so you can keep your paper in the safe cutting area. Let's see if we're going to cut this. I'm not sure why it's dripping like this one. Maybe I need to update my software. Okay, so you see it's right on the 11 area here and right at the very 8.5 size paper. So for us to be able to obtain this safe area, instead of placing our paper all the way here, we should position it a little bit down here. So, you know, we can compensate this area into a safer place, and then you can just continue cut it. And here's the trick. With our extra large, large, and medium, you will need 16 of this of template 2 and 12 of template 1. So what you can do, you can cut 2 of the 12 of this template, but you need to have additional 4 for this template 2. So what you can do, you can also upload the separated templates. Let's just upload both then for the medium, just in case you wanna use it. So that's it, and this one, the 1 and 2. And then just click continue and save as cut image, and then save. So now you have your medium templates also here. We're just clicking the 2 and then just insert the image. You can, you know, it's optional, but it's good to have everything in one file together. So what we're doing here is just changing the color into the same color as what we have for the combo medium here. And now we're going to select it and then just make it, you know, closer to this, the size of the old one. So since you know, this one is just one file, so if you don't want to waste, you know, more time cutting this one when you don't really need it, you can hide it and then just cut this portion here and then hide this other one also, since we're not using this one anymore. All we need is 4 more extra of this template. So what we can do, so this this one would have an exact size of the other template. All you have to do is just to try and make it, you know, as equal as possible, like so. So if you don't see any, you know, if you don't see anything overlapping parts, that means it's equal. Even if it has like millimeter difference, it doesn't really matter, it's close enough. Just like cutting with hand, you know, sometimes it's really not as perfect as what you want, but it will work. So then now you can hide it and just cut 4 sizes of this template. The problem is you cannot, you know, duplicate it and then just do it like this, because obviously this is a larger template, so it's way beyond our safe area and it will not cut that way. Even if you will flip it on the other side, let's try that. Flip it vertical and keep it on, the safe area is here. So 10.25. It's safe horizontally, but way beyond over our vertical line. So that's it. You know, that's why I use this one, because it's easier. And you know, just cutting all together one paper, so it will save you paper as well. So that's how I make my medium rose. Now we are going to upload the small rose and the medium after. So rose combo, let's go for the small. So simple, click, continue, cut as image, and then save. And then upload. This is the bud, and then continue. Save as cut image, and then save. So now we have our rose here, the small rose. We can just put it here, and let's change the color into what? Yellow maybe? Oh jeez, that's too harsh. Okay, I think I prefer that. And then you can just find the last color that you use here. So I also already, you know, make it sure that this one will be proportion with this bud here, regardless of how we are going to size it. And the paper that we're gonna use is the 8.5 by 11. So we're gonna position our paper vertically. So 8.5, but the safe area is 8.25 by 11, or the safe area is 10.75. So with the bud, we need two different sizes of the bud. That's why I call it the bud 1, or the clover rose 1 and clover rose 2. So we're going to stretch this bud to its maximum, which is the 8.5 horizontally for its width. So we can cut this one with ease in our 8.5 paper without worrying that our paper is not enough. So that's our bud 1, and we need one of this one to make a bud, one piece of this template. And what we can do, just click it and duplicate it, and just create a new smaller, just slightly smaller version of the first one. So you have two buds here, two sizes, one piece of the large, and then you need to make two pieces of the smaller one for the inner bud, like the very center of your rose. So that's how I create the bud. So two of this one and one of the larger one. So let's hide it since we don't need it right now. And then let's proceed to our bud, out to our outer layer. So then again, our safe area here is 10.75 and here is 8.25. Don't touch the lac, just stretch it, you know, up to the most that you can get. So it's 7. We already got into this 11. 10.75. But here we have two more nudge that we can really move. And I believe personally that it would be nicer if our bud is wider. So what we can do is to remove the lock, move it to, the closest you can get up to this corner, and keep it into this line here of 10.75. But at the same time, you can now, what happened? Sorry. You can now drag this all the way to our safe area uh, horizontally. So it's wider now compared to earlier. And it's fine. A wider outer petal is so much better than smaller uh, smaller petal than the bud. So let's compare. Why not? Okay. So you see, even the bud here is slightly wider, but that's okay because we're gonna curl it anyway. So that's how I am positioning my bud for the small rose, so it can use, we're not wasting the paper. We're using the most out of it, and at the same time we are at the safe portion. Let's try. I'm not sure why it's not really showing. Let's skip the lock because we already find our perfect dimension. Not really. I think I have to move a little bit up and then just keep the lock on. And then let's try make it. Why is it doing this? Oh, okay. There we go. So, wait a minute. The length is not right. So our safe area is 10.25. And then 10.75 and 8.25. Just keep the lock again. And then make it. Something's wrong with the design space, or is it my computer? It's really tripping. So, okay. So as you can see, we are right at the very, 8.5 here, although it's okay. But again, you need to move your paper to compensate this area here a little bit, as well as your length before you continue cutting. So that's how, the small rose is made. We need okay. So with the inner bud, the smaller bud, we need two. We need one of this larger. It's the same template, but it's just slightly larger. We need one, we need two, and we need to have 12 pieces of this one, meaning we need to cut 3 A4 or 8.5 by 11 paper so we can have 12. So that's for the small. Now we're hiding it, and then let's proceed to the mini. Browse and continue. And then continue. And then upload the bud. Simple. And then continue. So let's upload this too, because that's our mini. And let's color this one with pink. Why not? Okay. So now we have our templates. So what we are doing right now is trying to have our bud in place and make our bud first. So this two has the same size, and the reason why I do it so that we can make the most out of our paper, and at the same time, you know, it's gonna be an easy cut to cut two bud at a time. So our paper will be positioned horizontally also, both of this paper. So we're trying to make the larger size bud here. So as I said, our safe area for like 11 is 10.75, and our safe area for 8.5 is 8.25. So we are keeping it into this area and position the paper horizontally so we can have, you know, so we have a safe space for cutting. So this is gonna be our larger bud that I demonstrate with you with a small rose earlier. And although you only need one, but this applies if you are, you know, making multiple roses of this size, so you can use the other one to the next flower that you're making. But similar to the small rose, all you need for one flower is one piece of this size of the larger or outer bud. And now we're going to make the smaller one. So just duplicate it. And then, as you can see, it's completely equal. So we are going to make a slightly smaller version. And how you can see it is that this is gonna be my basis here. Never mind with this one, because as you see, it's not even touching up to the most here. I'm just trying to find a smaller version of our bud. So that's all we need. Once I feel happy, you can even put it at the very top. So that's our smaller version. So on each rose, we need to have two of this one and then one of this larger outer bud. So because we don't need this bud anymore, let's try to hide it. But wait, before we are going to hide the largest the larger bud, let's try to make sure that our this is gonna be our outer petals. Let's try to make sure that our outer petal has the same or even a slightly more width of our uh, larger petal of the larger bud. So unlike with the previous previous sizes that we are just, you know, drawing it up to uh, the safe area of 10.25 here and 8.25 in this area, this is gonna be too much or too big. I find it, you know, ridiculously larger and completely uneven to the small size bud that we have. So what we are trying to achieve right now is just, you know, to have an equal width of our larger bud with the outer bud that we have. So this is my basis. As you can see, you can put your bud here, and that's my basis on how I measure this one. So once it's equal, that means that this is the right size for our bud, and then we can now hide our inner bud and just continue uh, cutting this one. So although it doesn't get into our 8.5 safe area and 10.75 safe area here, that's okay because we're looking for the proportion of our bud here. So now then you can go ahead and just click make it. You need 2 papers for this one since you need 12 pieces of this outer bud for a mini rose, which is gonna be like from 5 to 6 inches rose. So there you have it, ladies. Although I'm gonna provide, you know, the sizing, but I believe this is the easier way on how you're going to size your petals in your Cricut design space. So now that you have everything here, you have the XL, large, medium, the small, and the mini, it's time for you to save your work. So you can just label it as Rose Combo. And then just save it. So anytime that you want to make a rose, you don't have to resize it. You only have to size it, you know, one time, and then, you know, when you go to your project, you have it here, the Rose Combo. You cannot see the other petals because we hide it. And if we're going to show it, it's gonna look cluttered. You know, you just have what I'm trying to say here is that you just have to show like 1 or 2 different templates that would determine, you know, on your thumbnails what kind of petals are you gonna have. So I'm just gonna save it again. So these 2 will show in our thumbnails, and we know that it's the rose template. See? This is what we have here. So actually I have hundreds of projects saved on my design space. So thank you so much. I hope you guys find this tutorial informative, and you know, this would help with your paper flower journey. Thank you so much again, and until next time.